not being disorderly.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you again. Get up.
I have not committed a crime. I can't get up. You're hurting me.
Were you offended by the contents of his signs?
No,
Why did you think they were offensive?
I didn't think they were offensive.
So why did you arrest them? But specifically the First Amendment, you don't remember.
Correct.
Starting off with this sergeant who was served with some quick karma after he did the unthinkable. In December 2018, veteran First Amendment auditor and activist Wesley Knowles, known for his YouTube channel Otto the Watchdog, was standing on a curb with various placards, peacefully exercising his right to free speech. That is when Sergeant Nick Dial and a few other officers approached, attempting to bully and intimidate him.
How are you?
Well, I was doing just fine until just a minute ago.
I've already heard you say a cuss word once, so...
What do your other signs say, sir? Sir, what do your other signs say?
What am I doing?
Okay, can I see your other signs?
No, leave my feet away.
Sir, we've got a complaint of you out here holding up profanities.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't let me look at your sign, I'll take you in custody for disorderly conduct.
I'm not being disorderly.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you again. All right?
I don't consent to any searches or seizures.
Okay. This is offensive to people that are driving by and families that are driving by.
Yes.
Yes, it's disorderly conduct.
What's the penal code?
It's disorderly conduct.
Can you read that to me?
It's disorderly conduct.
Sergeant kicked the placards from Otto's hands and in mere seconds planned to arrest him. The auditor, realizing how devastating the situation is getting, decided to get on the ground to passively resist the cop.
Roll over. Since he's failing the ID, take him to jail for disorderly conduct.
When we're here answering a complaint and you refuse to identify yourself, that is a crime. When you're displaying these signs and people are calling because it's offensive to them, that is another crime. So yes, you have committed a crime. You've committed two.
You didn't warn me.
We don't have to warn you. Ignorance of the law.
I asked you politely to see your signs and you said
I
no.
don't consent to any searches or seizures of my property or my person.
I'm not going to take you.
If this illegal arrest wasn't enough, the officers continued to torment the poor auditor as they left his camera on the road.
I would like to see your supervisor right now before you assault me any further.
We're not.
I am being assaulted. I have not committed a crime. I have not committed a crime. I have not committed a crime. I can't get up. You're hurting me. You are hurting me.
Then get up.
I cannot get
Then
up.
get
like
up.
This. I can't
Get
get
up.
up like this.
They lift you up.
I'm trying to get up. Matt, please
Get up.
help me to my knees.
We already have one.
Well,
All
help me
over
again.
everyone. Now they'll lift you straight
On your
up.
feet.
Stand up.
Okay, help me up. I have committed no crime. I have committed no crime whatsoever.
Soon after his arrest, Otto was charged with disorderly conduct, obscene language, and resisting arrest. Ultimately, the charges were dropped due to inconclusive evidence, and Otto filed a civil rights lawsuit against Sergeant Dial and the Royce City. The sergeant was then brought to a deposition where Otto's attorney wiped the floor with him.
As I explained earlier, one, it was an officer safety issue because I don't know what the signs are made out of or what they were. And they could be used as a weapon. And secondly, we were still investigating whether a crime had been committed. And he was unwilling to show us what the other two signs or what the sign said other than what we could see.
Did you believe that Mr. Knowles had an obligation to give you those signs?
What do you mean, an obligation?
Did you have the right to see those signs?
Well, it's part of our investigation.
Did Mr. Knowles have the right to refuse showing you the signs?
Anybody can refuse anything.
Objection form.
Why did you hit the sign so hard?
With 11 years of experience in the police department, you would expect Sergeant Dial to appear a bit more confident and have ample knowledge of the law. However, contrary to this, he proved how inadequate he is in basic constitutional law.
I don't know what your definition of hard and soft is, and that was 5 years ago.
How do you define hard and soft? You can use your own definition, please.
In regards to what?
The level of force that you apply to the signs.
I mean, I don't know how I would describe hitting a sign soft or hard.
Why didn't you use less force when touching the signs?
I didn't know I used too much force.
Could you have used less force when touching the signs?
Objection, Sean.
In regards to what? I mean, what was the amount of force that I used?
You said earlier that you conducted an investigation after you arrived on the scene that day with Knowles. What were the results of that investigation?
In regards to what?
Did you find anything during your investigation that caused you to arrest Knowles, that caused anyone to arrest Knowles?
Through our investigation, we determined that disorderly conduct had been committed
How did disorderly conduct get committed?
due to the verbiage that was on the signs, and we had received complaints.
The sergeant had violated Otto's First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment rights, and it turns out he also has no clue about disorderly conduct.
If you received the same complaints and those signs had said something different, would Knowles have been arrested?
The same complaints in what? Because the complaint we had was, it was vulgar and offensive.
What I'm asking you is, if the complaints were the same, but the contents of the signs were different, would Knowles have been arrested?
Objection, Sean.
What if the sign said Blue Lives Matter?
How is Blue Lives? There's nothing vulgar about Blue Lives Matter. There's no profanity in Blue Lives Matter.
Are you saying that if the sign said Blue Lives Matter, Knowles would not have been arrested?
I'm telling you that based on the complaints that we received that day, a guy telling me that he was offended by the profanity and vulgar that was being used in the signs,
Objection, non-responsive.
Dial refused to cite any law that had been broken that day and claimed to have made the arrest just because someone was hurt with what the placard had on them. It appears he really needs to read a book or two on the Constitution.
The complaints were the same, but the sign said Blue Lives Matter. Would Knowles have been arrested that day?
Objection, Sean.
there's no vulgar or profanity in in the verb or term, the verbiage or term Blue Lives Matter.
Do you think anyone that says a bad word publicly should be arrested?
No.
Why not?
Did someone complain on them, or are they just out there just throwing a fit? No complaints. I mean, there's several reasons why we would not arrest someone. I mean, if nobody finds it offensive, then disorderly conduct's not met.
So if the language on the signs had not offended someone, Knowles would have been arrested, or would he not have been arrested?
So you're telling me we didn't receive any calls and nobody complained to us? Would we have arrested Knowles that day?
Correct.
No, we wouldn't not have.
The attorney was doing a fascinating job holding the sergeant accountable, but the best part of the deposition was yet to come.
What specifically did Clark say to you about Knowles' prior disorderly conduct?
He was explaining it to Knowles that as I'm walking up, he's explaining it to him that, look, I've already heard you out here cussing at people.
So he was talking to Knowles, not you.
That is correct.
Did any motorists complain about the prior alleged profanities that Knowles said before you arrived?
Well, the one gentleman told me about the signs, and regarding what the people on 911 called in about, I do not recall that.
If anyone complained about verbal language and you didn't hear any allegedly profane verbal language from Knowles at the scene?
I did not hear it, but I heard Clark explaining to Knowles that he has already witnessed it or observed it himself.
Do you know one word of profanity that Knowles said?
No, I do not.
And you are not aware of any person that was offended by what Knowles said.
As the sergeant himself claimed that the arrest was made due to the contents of the placard, the attorney was ready with some even better questions regarding that which would silence the corrupt cop.
Were you offended by the contents of his signs?
No,
Why did you think they were offensive?
I didn't think they were offensive.
So why did you arrest them?
He was arrested. He was arrested because people had either called 911 or flagged us down about a gentleman that had offensive signs, and obviously Clark observed him using offensive language while he was there.
If Knowles said fuck the draft, would you have arrested him?
Objection. Directly to me or to who?
To anyone.
If they were offended about it, yes.
So are you saying that if anyone said anything offensive to anyone, you would arrest them?
I don't think certain terms, just because you're offended by them, does not constitute that. But when you have vulgarities or profanities in there,
The sergeant kept stumbling, making blunder after blunder, and the attorney was closing in on the core issue, First Amendment right. Clearly, this would be the final blow, completely dismantling the sergeant's shaky defense.
So you would arrest somebody if a citizen complained about vulgarities.
Objection.
so a citizen made the police department or dispatch aware that they had used profanities and vulgarities and were,
Have you arrested more than 5 people in your career?
I believe that would be an accurate statement.
Have you observed more than 10 arrests in your career?
I'd probably say I have observed more than 10 arrests in my career.
Have you observed more than 25?
That I don't know.
Have you observed more than 30 arrests in your career?
I don't know.
Do you remember any specific details about your training regarding First Amendment rights?
No, I do not.
Are you saying that you don't remember one word from your training regarding First Amendment rights?
Objection.
That is correct.
It is shocking that a 10-year police veteran didn't have any clue about the First Amendment. This poses a huge question to the entire law enforcement community. What kind of officers are being produced?
We went over the elements of the Constitution, and I believe the First Amendment is part of the Constitution.
But specifically the First Amendment, you don't remember.
Correct.
Do you remember how long you spent studying constitutional rights?
No, I do not.
Have you had any training related to constitutional rights since you became an officer?
I do not recall.
What topics have you been trained on since you became an officer?
I don't recall all of them.
Name one.
Accident investigation.
Anything else?
Well, I'm sure there's others.
Where did you receive the training regarding constitutional rights in 2007?
As when I was in the police academy, is that what you're referring to?
I'm referring to the training that you refer to, that you received in 2007 regarding First Amendment rights.
The Collin County College Police Academy.
And who trained you in constitutional rights?
Could not tell you.
Because you don't remember?
You're asking for the instructor's name? No, I do not remember the instructor's name.
The lack of IQ in this officer is clearly shocking for someone holding such a high position.
Do you remember anything about the protections provided to citizens by the First Amendment?
No, I do not.
Are you aware that the First Amendment gives citizens what's known as the freedom of speech? Have you heard of the freedom of speech?
I have.
What do you think that means?
Interpretations are a dime a dozen. But basically, someone can speak freely.
Does the First Amendment protect a person from being arrested because of what they say.
Objection form calls for legal conclusion.
Do I answer it?
Answer.
I think at times it may.
Has the police department provided you with any subsequent training on constitutional rights since you've been an active officer?
I do not recall.
Have you received any training, guidance, or instruction regarding First Amendment rights while you've been a police officer?
Objection form.
In the police academy, I know we went over the constitutional rights.
But anything since then?
I do not recall.
Well, this is what happens when you haven't been given any class or training on the First Amendment and the Constitution. Soon after this deposition, the city decided to grant Otto close to $25,000 to settle the lawsuit. Despite the sergeant's lack of knowledge, he was subjected to no disciplinary action, but was instead promoted to lieutenant. Well, the actions of this next cop will make Sergeant Dial seem like an angel in comparison.
Today is that day. You are not the law. You don't interpret the law. You don't enforce the law. You're not above the law.
In 2023, a former Clark County sheriff who oversaw the police and fire department was accused of stealing over $5 million from taxpayers' money and using that money to build a mansion, buy a Cessna airplane, and luxury car. As a result, he was charged with 25 felonies, and that's when the court proceeding started with Judge Larry Medlock.
Count 2, theft as a level 5 felony. It would indicate that pursuant to Indiana Code 35-44.1, you then personally sold said Hellcat for $83,000, $83,716. Count 4, theft is a level 6 felony under Indiana Code 35-43-4-2A. First 3 counts are level 5 felonies, which have a range of imprisonment from 1 year to 6 years, with the advisory sentence being 3 years and up to a $10,000 fine. Counts 4 through 15 are all level 6 felonies, which have a range of imprisonment of no time in jail, treated as a misdemeanor, to 2.5 years at the Indiana Department of Corrections, with the advisory sentence being 1 year and up to a $10,000 fine.
Jamie sat through the initial court proceedings as the judge read aloud the charges against him. The sheriff displayed no remorse throughout it all, maintaining a cold, expressionless demeanor.
And then you will surrender it to the court by 4 p.m. next Monday, because it's my understanding the court here is closed tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
He will surrender all firearms except 1 shotgun of his choice to Indiana State Police. Being from the country, or as Mr. Wilder said, Washington County, I keep my shotgun with double aught near me, along with my 45, but I think 1 shotgun for personal protection is appropriate for him to maintain. Will not leave the state of Indiana without permission of the court, and they'll post $75,000 in cash. Mr. Knoll, Mr. Wilder, I know you wanted him released without posting any bond, but it's a unique case, and if you don't like my decision, I'm happy for you to appeal it. It won't be the first time you've appealed me, and the Court of Appeals told you I was right, so I'm happy for you to accept that challenge if you're so pleased. I'm not going to have you report in.
Judge Medlock was fairly calm about the case, but made one thing very clear. Jamie would have no weapon except 1 shotgun.
You keep 1 shotgun only. Try to deceive me, you will not like the consequences.
Yes,
Understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then, Judge, the issue of return of all other items, see if we can just take them in another hearing.
Well, it wasn't set for today, so
No,
yeah, we'll deal with that at another time. I assume now that everything's going to be unsealed, there'll be a lot of new things brought before the court that
yes, Your Honor.
we'll address in due time.
Thanks, Judge.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor. Nothing else from us, Judge. Thank you.
All right, we'll be off record. Thank you all.
The corrupt sergeant had a habit of breaking the law, and he once again ignored the judge's command and was found to have multiple weapons in his home during a police raid. His bail was annulled, and he was quickly called to court again.
I told Mr. Knoll, don't do anything stupid. Do not try to deceive me, defy me. You will not like the consequences. Today is that day. You are not the law. You don't interpret the law. You don't enforce the law. You're not above the law. I find that you are in contempt of this court. Take him into custody. No, that's enough. I'll find you guys in contempt for disrupting the proceedings, and you'll be right there with him.
The judge didn't spare him this time and made sure to teach him a lesson by taunting him about his appearance in a TV show once named 60 Days In.
Now, what is an appropriate sanction? The question is, I can sentence him up to 180 days without a trial, or I can sentence him to a day, or I can release him. You know what I think the answer is? 60 days in. That's what I think the answer is today. Now, Mr. Wilder.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or Mr. Boyles, I apologize, Mr. Boyles, you're lead. Before he is released, I'll take your suggestion. I want an independent individual to scour that household to determine that there's no further weapons. I find it, Mr. Hurdle's original argument that he was trying to make that I sustained, an officer of the law, every time I go into court, I hear, I didn't know it was there. I didn't know it was there. I really didn't. You've heard that a million times. You've heard it a million times, and yet you still take them into custody, would be my guess. Every officer in the world has heard, I didn't know it was there. It's my friends. I'm not buying it. It's your burden. It's your responsibility. And today, the court will enforce that. Take me.
He was sentenced to 60 days in prison and was charged with 31 felonies. In August 2024, Knoll shamelessly pleaded guilty to 27 of the 31 felony charges against him.
Here it is. Defendant's Exhibit A?
Yes, Your Honor.
Acceptable. Cross-examination, Mr. Hurdle.
Mr. Tidman, I guess maybe I don't fully understand, or maybe in Ripley County we use the IRS for something different each and every time, no matter what's the charge.
No, sir.
Okay, because that's what I got.
Judge, could he answer? He wasn't finished. He asked a question. Could he answer?
Is that an objection?
It is an objection. He cut the witness off and he wasn't finished answering.
Response, Mr. Hurdle?
I'll withdraw the question.
Thank you.
Once again, Your Honor.
You may.
So all due respect, I'll repeat the question, Mr. Tidman. Is it your testimony today that if someone scores a 0 on the IRS, the court should just release them on their own recognizance?
No, sir. That decision is up to the judge. I can only simply make an IRAS recommendation and the supervision level recommendation.
Okay. And so you're not saying bond should be 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. You're talking about once bond potentially.
Knoll faces almost 15 years of imprisonment as part of this plea deal, and shortly his sentence will be announced, serving as a reminder for police officers to never steal taxpayers' money. Well, this now brings us to the end of the video. Today we witnessed police officers being attacked and humiliated in courtroom. It's always satisfying to see these law enforcement officials think that they're above the law held accountable and exposed for their dirty deed. And if you agree with me, please consider showing your support by liking this video, and also make sure to subscribe to stay informed about future cases like these. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out the next video right here.